Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod, here to talk about The Traitors Season 3, Episode 6, titled A Dysfunctional Family. Last week on The Traitors, Robin laid her last egg. When she was murdered, Danielle started her anti-Carolyn campaign, which was later exposed to Carolyn by Dylan, and at the roundtable, shy wrestler Nikki Bella went out like a lamb. Before I dive in, I put a link in the description to my playlist, where you can catch up on my previous Traitors recaps. If you like what I'm doing, consider liking and subscribing. As always, my videos aren't meant to replace the original material, so if you missed the episode, I highly encourage you to seek it out on Peacock to enjoy and form your own opinion first. But let's dive into it. The episode starts with Carolyn instantly confronting Danielle in the turret for throwing her under the bus. Rob tries to smooth things over, but Carolyn tells them the only people she wants to murder is them. Danielle apologizes to Carolyn and promises to make it right. Once Carolyn scrapes her jaw off the floor of the turret, they have to make a decision to murder. They can't murder Sierra or Dolores, who have shield. The next day at breakfast, Sierra speculates to Carolyn that Danielle is a traitor because of her crying hysterics. Derek tells the group that if Boston Rob survives this murder, he's probably a traitor because if he's a faithful, the traitors would kill him after catching Bob the drag queen now that he doesn't have shield protection. Once Rob walks in, Derek is sure of it. It's revealed that Bob Harper is murdered with flashback to Boston Rob pushing Bob's name. I think Rob wanted to be the last Ob standing, so we lose Bob Harper here, who I was happy to see back on my screen. Pre-season, I predicted him to be a leader and that if he was leading the group in the right direction, he would be murdered, which is what happened here. He was onto that Boston Rob. He had a great relationship with the women, with the Bambis adopting him as one of their own. He was mentally competent and shared his personal health journey, and a bitchy side to him, which we haven't ever seen, with him making snide remarks and throwing shade at Carolyn left and right, which didn't make him boring, but maybe makes this murder at the hands of Carolyn deserved. I can't wait to see his reaction to her being a traitor in the post-mortem video. The girls are really destroyed by this murder. Dolores, Sierra, even Danielle. Alan is wearing a brown suit with sequin sleeves, a blue shirt, socks, a spiky tie, blue beret, blue socks. I don't love this outfit. He tells them not to sweat it in a nod to Bob's occupation. My best dressed at breakfast award. This was tough. I did like Gabby's pink sweater, but for the whole look, I'm going with Tom Sandoval's olive suit. I think head to toe, this look was put together nicely. I love the colors. If you're gonna be loud and wrong, at least dress nicely. After Alan leaves, Gabby and Tom have a scuffle because Tom says he has a lot of theories. Nobody listens to him. Tom annoys Brittany, telling her he thinks Dolores is a traitor. She rubs her throbbing temples in confessional. Rob tells us he's targeting his threats, so he's telling faithfuls Dolores and Ivor that Wes is a traitor. Tom is trying to convince Wes of his Dolores theory, and Derek asks Tom to leave so the real players can talk. Derek tells Wes he thinks it's time to pull the plug on Rob. In the kitchen, Brittany tells Carolyn that she heard that Carolyn has been coming for her and insinuates that Danielle has been doing it. Carolyn tells Brittany she's her number one and she wouldn't do that to her. They head to their mission where Fergus is carrying a barrel of gunpowder. They pull up to a giant traitor that they need to topple to bank $30,000. They need to find and open 20 locked crates in the woods by answering numeric codes. 17 of the crates contain gunpowder, and there are 3 shields. They need to collect enough gunpowder in the allotted time to blow up that big traitor. So they get started, splitting up into 3 groups. Each group will have 1 shield available to them. Wes wants a shield because Rob is vengeful, and Wes knows that Rob is a traitor. Gabby jokes that they're gonna leave Ivor's royal ass behind. Red team find their shield. Carolyn snatches it first. Tom gets mad that she got it. Derek tries to convince the green group to give him the shield because he's never had one, but they're not having it, and Chriselle beats him in rock, paper, scissors, earning the shield for herself. For the yellow group, Dylan beats them at rock, paper, scissors and gets yet another shield, saying he's apparently a rock, paper, scissors champion back home. Those Efrons. Carolyn strategizes with Gabby, telling her that someone's been putting her name out there. Gabby confirms to Carolyn that Danielle's coming for her, which affirms to Carolyn that Danielle is canceled in her book. In the end, the group rips the big traitor a new one, earning the $30,000. Alan asks them who has the shields and they keep it quiet. In the car ride home, Carolyn is steaming. Have you ever been stuck in a car with someone that you're mad at? Isn't it so awful? They get back to the house where Brittany and Sam are chilling and enjoying brownies. Wes tells Dolores that Tom is coming after her. In confessional, Dolores basically says Tom has mommy issues. Derek tells us he's playing 4D chess against Rob. He starts trying to assemble the votes, telling Ivor that Ivor's convinced Derek that Rob is a traitor. Great thinking, Ivor. Carolyn is starting her own campaign against Danielle, but it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Wes tells Brittany that Derek is trying to assemble the votes against Rob, which makes Brittany sus of Wes. She runs this back to Derek, asking Derek if he's leading the charge against Rob. This makes Derek suspicious of Brittany, feeling like Brittany is defending Rob and that she's been quiet at round tables, which could make her a traitor. Chriselle tries to warn Rob of all of this, and they head to the round table. This one is kicked off by Dolores, who's wearing her confrontational ruffles. She tells Tom to tell the group what he thinks about her because she doesn't think it'll make sense. Dolores calls calls Tom a bad faithful, and Derek changes the subject to a recap of the night Bob the Drag Queen went home. Derek says Rob threw Bob the Drag Queen under the bus. Bob the Drag Queen voted for Rob because he's a traitor. Rob should have been murdered if he was a faithful, and they made him a traitor when they sent him out of the game at the premiere. Derek was completely spot on with his entire analysis. But Rob gives Derek a new drag name. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Widely Misguided. And Rob starts throwing everything in the kitchen sink at the group. He says he's heard a lot of names, him, Danielle, Carolyn, Dolores, and that all of these names are coming from Wes. Gabby and Chriselle agree with Rob, feeling like Wes is pushy with the way he plays, and they don't like it. Wes tells anyone who votes for him that he has his eye on them, and this gets a bad reaction from the room. If they had tomatoes to throw. Carolyn chimes in saying she doesn't feel like she fits in the real world or the game, but she found an ally in Danielle, and she's had people coming to her, telling her that Danielle is coming for her. Brittany chimes in that she was the person who came to Carolyn, but she didn't say it was Danielle. This is all a mess. They get to the votes. Carolyn votes for Danielle. Dolores votes for Tom. There are 5 votes for Rob in Wes, Danielle, Gabby, Derek, and Tom, and 7 for Wes in Dylan, Sam, Ivor, Rob, Chriselle, Brittany, and Sierra. So Wes is banished, reveals he's a faithful, and flips them off on the way out. So we lose Wes here. I am Wes'd out after House of Villains, but I think this was a pleasant little showing from him. He was strategic, cocky. He tried to give some opposition to Boston Rob, which I appreciate. I'm left wondering how this vote would have gone had he not made that veiled threat against people who voted for him, because there didn't seem to be much of a Wes is aggressive narrative before that. I didn't want him to win, so I'll sleep well tonight. After Wes's banishment, Rob feels like he had no help from the other traitors. Brittany pulls Derek aside. She feels like he lied to her earlier when she asked him if he was organizing the Rob vote. He tells her he thinks Rob's a traitor, and she could be a traitor too, which offends her. Derek later tells Dylan he feels like Rob is a traitor and Brittany too. Brittany walks in and right back out, and Derek tells Dylan he's gonna get murdered. The traitors head to the turret for another awkward encounter. They start hashing things out with each other. Rob seems to be the only traitor wanting to work things out right now, but Danielle blames Rob for their issues in the first place. They just keep threatening each other and getting nowhere, and the episode ends there. For my final thoughts, firstly, I watched last week's postmortem. Robin and Nikki said they were shocked that Danielle was a traitor. Robin says because Danielle is acting so unlike others would as a traitor, they say Brittany is feeding Danielle information as well. On this episode, the Bob murder was whatever. I was surprised that Carolyn referred to Brittany as her number one. We haven't seen them having much of a relationship. At that point in the episode, I was like, my girl Brittany is killing it. She's in with all the traitors and the faithful. The traitors make a truce at the beginning of the episode with Danielle saying that she'll leave Carolyn alone. Danielle was very well behaved in this episode, but throughout the episode, Carolyn kept finding out things from last week, and Carolyn was getting more and more mad. But Danielle was doing nothing. Carolyn could have played this better. Derek really cooked Rob at the round table, but they just didn't have the votes because the group just thought Wes was so shady. Rob is doing a great job of whittling down the votes that are against him, but I think soon the faithful are going to get tired of losing and looking dumb and take a shot at him. After Carolyn voted for Danielle, Sam Asghari is the only player left in the game with a perfect voting record. Brittany's game took a turn that makes me so nervous. Derek painted her as a traitor to Dylan before bed. She was under the radar, but now she has the stank on her. The traitors have to decide who to murder, and it's a tough choice. They could murder Derek, but he was in the group in the challenge where there were no traitors, with Dolores, Chriselle, Brittany, Sam, and Derek. Assuming that Chriselle didn't tell anyone that she got the shield, they should all be safe, which could even clear Brittany and Derek's eyes, because through Derek's logic, after accusing Rob, who's obviously a traitor, if Brittany's also a traitor and she knows where the shield is, he should be dead unless everyone in his group is also a faithful. Rob's group had Sierra, Dylan, and Wes. Dylan had the shield and Wes is gone. They shouldn't murder Sierra. Carolyn's group had Gabby, Tom, Ivor, and Danielle. Carolyn found the shield. Tom is a fool and Gabby's helping the traitors, so they should murder Ivor tonight. But let me know in the comments, who do you think they should murder? And what do you think of the loss of Dear Bob and Wes? That's all I have to say about this episode. If you liked the video, consider liking and subscribing. I'll be back next week for more Traitors. I'm also covering Deal or No Deal Island and the Challenge All-Stars 5 Rivals. Until next time, you know where to find me. Bye!